Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Today is April 20th, 2021, and it's beautiful and sunny out here in Oregon. We're getting some rain pretty soon, so I'm enjoying it while I can. Thank you for tuning into Vibrant Life. This is episode number 9. So my name is Jessica Parker. I'm a holistic health coach. I have a master's in health psychology, and I'm a fitness instructor. And I like to talk about all things health and wellness, and I come at things from a root cause approach, which means I don't like to just stick band-aids on things and try to get symptoms to go away. I want to find out why. So I absolutely appreciate mainstream medicine in terms of critical care, and it's so necessary, and I've seen it so many times, and I definitely was thankful for having an epidural when I had a baby long time ago. There are things I really appreciate for sure, but I have a very hard time with the fact that it's usually from point A to Z in terms of let's just go to the pill or the surgery or whatever without figuring out all the in between and the underneath. So that's where I'm coming from. Today we're going to talk about a fun topic. I have been seeing on social media a video. And first of all, I am a mom, and I totally am not trying to mom shame. Absolutely. This woman that I'm going to talk about is scared, clearly. Clearly she is scared and she wants to protect her children. I get that. 1,000,000% I get that. Now, what kind of information she's been receiving is probably far different than my information and how I see the world. And that's just something that I'm going to recognize. I'm not trying to mom shame her in the slightest. And I'll be praying for her. So there was a video, short video of a mom in a store, and she had a child in the cart. It was a video from behind the mom, so you could kind of see the baby. You couldn't full on see the baby. It was in the little, the front part of the cart where you can see their legs dangling down. And so it looked like, not an infant, but not quite a toddler. And I can't remember, there may have been another child like in the cart. I can't remember, but there was at least one. And age kind of doesn't really matter, but there is that. So she was obviously, masks and all the things. And then walking a couple steps, she had a can of Lysol, spraying a big circle around the kid. Walk a couple steps, spray a big circle around the kid. There are no words. And again, I'm not gonna mom shame because I clearly, you do better when you know better, right? So Lysol, please do not. I wouldn't even own that. So I like to teach people about toxin-free living. And so I have become very familiar with a couple of apps like the EWG, Environmental Working Group, and then Think Dirty. Those are 2 free apps that you can put on your phone. I know that there are others out there, but I love using those. And you can actually be in the store and scan a product, and it will come up with all these ratings for you. I tend to like to kind of use both because they have a little bit of different objectives, so you can get kind of a more well-rounded perspective. But let's be real, you're not going to go into the store and be like, oh yeah, this word I can't pronounce, I know exactly what that is. And seriously, there are a lot of crazy things that I don't know what they are, and there's no way that I'm going to memorize it. Sometimes there are certain ingredients that you become familiar with and you're like, oh, I got that. I'm not going to do that. But for the most part, it's confusing. And you know how people say, especially with food, if there are all these ingredients you can't pronounce, you should not be buying it. Well, actually, that's not true. There can be some very hard to pronounce things that you're like, whoa, that sounds like a chemical bleep storm. And it might not actually be true at all. In fact, what I like to talk to people about is that there are some actually natural things that I would not recommend especially when it comes to like hormone mimicking that can occur, things like that. And then there are some synthetic things that are safer than some of those things. You really just have to dive in. People are always like, trust the science. Well, that's part of that. You really need to know what you're working with. Never trust a label, ever, 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 ever. I don't care if it's makeup, food, skincare, disinfectant. Never trust a label, ever, ever. So I really like to scan my things and then like, a lot of times it is very shocking, especially with labels, how they're like, they have these buzzwords like natural, whatever. And, nope. They're allowed to say a lot of things that like, not true. So, and again, sometimes natural is not good. So I would recommend doing that. Lysol in particular, I looked it up. You can also just get online, EWG, and you can look things up there. So I was on my computer, and the ratings are like school, like A through F. Lysol, the disinfectant, because there's also like the air freshener, like different things. Nothing that I saw had a rating better than a C. Any kind of disinfectant they had that I saw was rated as an F. And you're going to spray this around your kid. First of all, you're spraying it on your kid, which is why the title of this is Please Don't Use Lysol. Please do not spray your children with Lysol, because even though she was spraying around, like I have this like makeup setting spray, like I spritz it and sit there and let it land. That's what, it's going to be all over her kid. It wasn't like she was spraying it over there. It was all around her kid. So it's going to be on her child. Things seep into our skin so very easily. That's why it's important to be aware of what you're putting onto your skin. It goes into your bloodstream within like 30 seconds, maybe faster. It goes into your bloodstream. So the reason they rated it as an F, these were their main concerns: asthma/respiratory, skin allergies and irritation, developmental and reproductive toxicity, and environment concerns. Well, I was like, why don't you have cancer on there? Because that stuff is a chemical bleep storm. Well, if you read, so this is, and take it with a grain of salt, take this like platform with a grain of salt, because there are things that I feel like they err on the good side sometimes with things. So I trust it when it says F, but it might be like an FFF, like F++, is my point, because they can have products that are verified EWG. What I have learned is that that's because the company is paying them a lot of money to get that verification, which means you're not going to see details necessarily. So that's another reason why I like to compare with different apps. But I still gain a lot of information that I really, really appreciate. So anyway, in this, when you're looking at a particular product, you can see the general, like this is a score and this is why. And I also really like that they offer you a link to a better product with good ratings. I like that. And don't ever think, oh, that's all there is. Like there's one I'll talk about in a minute that wasn't even on here. But what I really like to do is go further down and look at each individual ingredient. Because again, I'm like, I don't know what this is. Mypaborate, like, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. That's high concern for developmental, endocrine, reproductive effects. That's the first ingredient. Ammonium hydroxide, high concern, acute aquatic toxicity. So we're talking environment, respiratory, and then some concern, damage to vision. Concerns from ammonia gas, respiratory, general systemic, organ effect, damage to skin irritation, allergies, damage. We're only 2 ingredients in, and I'm like, I do not want that near my child, right? Let alone, like, I'm not going to spray it on. Similar things. And then I'm seeing cancer. Butane, you guys, developmental and endocrine, reproductive effects, cancer, damage to DNA. That is all concerns under butane. There's propane in it. Doesn't even list what the concerns are. Do you see where I'm going here? It goes on and on. So I encourage you, I'm not going to keep going because go look it up. I want you to look it up. I want you to go through your cabinet and like scan things, look things up, and make a better and very well-educated decision. Because, you know, sometimes people are also like, well, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit here, just a little bit there. But you know what? Think about, you know, you get up in the morning and first of all, you've been sleeping in whatever bedding, whatever detergents you've been using. Look up your detergents, look up your dryer sheets, and then get rid of them. Dryer sheets are so toxic. I use those little like wool balls and essential oils. And then you might maybe go for coffee. I mean, into your kitchen, get some coffee, put crappy creamer and stuff like that in it. Toxins, toxins, toxins. You go get into the shower. What are you using for soap and shampoo and blah, blah, blah. You get out. I always put lotion on. What's in your lotion? The word fragrance can mean hundreds of different things, hundreds. And each one of those different hundreds of things could have a different rating. It could be an F, it could be an A. We don't know. We have to find out, right? And that's how companies get away with things. Oh, fragrance, that sounds perfectly harmless, you know? Please educate yourself. So that's just like from waking up to taking a shower, getting out of the shower. That hasn't even been like putting my makeup on, doing my hair. You know, the air in our houses can be more toxic than outside. And, you know, people realize that like a lot of times we have our windows shut and, you know, the heat going or AC or whatever, but it's also like the stuff in our carpet and our furniture, whatever we're cleaning with, blah, 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 could go on and on and on. So are you getting where I'm going with this? Back to the Lysol situation. I understand you're trying to protect your child, but you need to understand that you are doing more harm than you think that you are protecting them from. I really 1,000,000% believe that. So my suggestions, like that kind of stuff never comes near my family as much as I can help it, nor does it enter my home ever, 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 at all, never. In fact, I have been in situations where somebody's like, oh, you have to have hand sanitizer. No, look up the ingredients in that stuff. I'm like, nope, I will go wash my hands. Like that is far less toxic. And people are right now, because of the nature of everything, people are constantly putting this stuff on themselves more than ever. So it's not ever just a little bit here and there, especially now. And your body is designed perfectly to filter through this stuff, to detox naturally. And it's like just putting the worst kind of crap that shouldn't be, like, think of your car, putting the worst stuff ever that doesn't even belong in there constantly into it and expecting it to run well. It is not going to happen. And these things long term, and it's already been over a year of this, and a lot of people are probably using this stuff before any of this hit, but it's already been a while. So we're going to be seeing high inflammation rates, which that equals when we have systemic inflammation, you can have autoimmune disorders up the yin yang. And I'm talking anything from arthritis, rosacea, gut stuff like Crohn's, MS, lupus. I mean, the list goes on and on. So, and neurological stuff with that. And we're talking ADD, anxiety, depression. Inflammation is good when it's this acute response. You get a cut, you like hurt yourself somehow. That's what it's designed for. But when you're constantly causing inflammation in your body and it doesn't stop, that is not good at all, at all. So Force of Nature is a brand that I personally have not used it, but I know lots of people in my Toxin free living community who love it and use it. And if I didn't already have stuff that I love, that I would absolutely go for it. Read up, you guys. Look at specific ingredients. Do some research. It is worth your health and your family's health. I know people are like, oh, essential oils, you hippy dippy, da whatever, but I use them and love them. I used to feel the same about them, but if you actually research them, medication is designed off of plant medicine, basically, plant properties. And so it's like mimicking them. And so using these high concentrated things, for lack of a better word, is offering you things that does not come with all these weird side effects that medication does. And it like, usually there's like one element, you know, in like a plant that is awesome, but it comes with these other ones also that are supportive and awesome in these other ways. And so you're getting like the full meal deal, versus we're going to target this one thing that we're going to copy it from the plant, target this one thing, and you're not getting the full benefit and you're also getting side effects. I'm not saying I never ever want medicine. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying let's do this other stuff first. Like oregano, for example. Oil of oregano. Oregano is like nature's antibiotic. You'll never see my house without it, like in my medicine cabinet, which is full of just like vitamins and essential oils and supplements and stuff like that. Yes, I'm that girl. So oregano is awesome for your immune system. It's awesome for respiratory health. Hello. And so I've been taking it because we just got back from a trip and being on the plane for hours and hours, and we had a reservation at this like most disgusting hotel I've ever been in my life. We did not stay there. We looked at the room and I literally heard animals in the wall, and I'm not even kidding. And when I told them that, they're like, yeah. Oh my gosh, craziest thing ever. But it was also horrible because I walked in and was like, there are a lot of smells like smoke and things like that, layers of that stuff with layers on top of trying to cover it up with whatever they used, air fresheners, Febreze, whatever. And my body can't handle that. And so I've been a little bit like, from all of that stuff. So I'm taking oregano right now because it really is helping my body. I can feel it, like it's helping my body get through that. And like, okay. Anyway, I'm very sensitive to that kind of stuff. Once you start getting that stuff out of your life and your body is like less toxic, you feel so healthy, but you also feel more like a little more sensitive to that kind of stuff. And I think it's good because your body doesn't get used to it and like, oh, it's fine, you know, and like you don't even notice how you're suffering for it. So Force of Nature, I personally use doTERRA. They have a really great blend called On Guard, and it has citrus, clove, which is antibacterial. Clove is another like really great one. It has quite a blend. It smells pretty good, and like I use it on all my surfaces. I also love, oh my gosh, what is that? Norwex. It's like a Norwegian brand, and it really you can clean with water with that because it's the materials that are used in their like cloths and mop thing and stuff like that is designed to collect bacteria. I use that with my essential oils. So anyway, there are a lot of options, a lot. Beyond that, clearly we need to be building up our health from the inside out. And so what I don't want to see is not only are you spraying your kid with Lysol, but then you're eating Lunchables and McDonald's and soda and candy and stuff like that, because the very best thing that we can be doing no matter what is being strong physically, from a health standpoint, in terms of like being able to fight things off and kind of roll with it and actually, you know, build a better immune system because of things we do come across. If we're protecting ourselves from everything, we're going to be so weak and we're not going to be able to withstand anything. So, with that being said, you guys, I would highly encourage you. I don't know if you're familiar with Robb Wolf, 2 B's, but he has a podcast, which I love. Like, I love to nerd out on all things health related. And he has a podcast with his wife called The Healthy Rebellion Radio. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. You can probably find it on several different places. If you go to robbwolf.com/radio, you can find it there. Anyway, his most current podcast, I listened to it this morning. It may even have been from this morning. Again, it's April 20th. COVID solution, which I feel like I shouldn't say that word, but almost no one is talking about. A conversation with Clementia Russo. It is so good. And they really dive in to basically like, how is this situation, this thing happening? What does it look like? How is it spreading? Like all these things. And please, I feel like people are not allowed to talk about it. Like you have to listen to the upper echelons of people who are telling us how to believe and how to behave right now. And those people are making lots of money. And don't you dare suggest any other possibility of how it can be handled, because they will not get the money they want. So when people start bullying other people and getting loud and, attacking others, that is a sign to me that I need to dig a little further, because people are like causing all this ruckus and hiding or like distracting from actually doing research, truly. So that whole thing, I've seen people like make being nice great again or something like that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's also make being smart great again. So let's become critical thinkers once again. I mean, because I have gone through my own health stuff. I've seen people in my family go through it, and I've always been a little bit like, what is really going on? And so I take deep dives and like really try and figure things out. When I was getting my master's degree as well as my health coaching certifications, I really learned, like one of the biggest takeaways for me was the fact that I learned that you don't just read something and take it at face value. You are like, who funded this study? What did this study take apart all the little pieces and parts and the people involved and look at like, what was the sample size? Who was in the sample size? Like all the things. And things need to be able to be like proven and retested and da. I won't bore you, but don't ever take anything at face value. Let's be critical thinkers and let's really go for things that are like for our health and not just putting a Band-Aid on things. So this podcast I mentioned, please go listen to it. And they really talk about air quality and how they have found, scientists have found how that plays a huge factor in all of this. So also go outside with your face naked and breathe fresh air and get some sunshine and get some exercise. All right. You guys have an awesome day. Let me really quick tell you that my sponsor is Oregon Valley Farm, which is my family business. We ship pasture raised pork and chicken, and then grass-fed and finished beef. No antibiotics, no added hormones. We ship it on dry ice, frozen to your door, to lots of different states, but do please go to our website, OregonValleyFarm.com. Go to the FAQs and make sure that we ship to your state. We're in the Albany, Oregon area, and we do offer local pickup. We accept EBT, which is food stamps basically. And before you like get your, in a wad, I've had people attack us for that. And I was a single mom for 8 years, and I had to be on that, and I hated it, but I had to be on food stamps a couple of times. I personally did it for the shortest amount of time that I was able to, or that I needed it for, but I did need it. And I also had 5 part-time jobs at one point and was raising this little guy who's now much taller than me and not little anymore. He's 15. Please don't attack people for doing something like that, especially right now. So, but again, you can find us at OregonValleyFarm.com. And thank you for listening. And I would love to hear your perspective. And you can find me at Health with Jess. That's HEALTH with Jess.com. Facebook, Health with Jess, and then Instagram is Health with Jessica. All right, have an awesome day.